Title: The Siege of Sevastopol, the Crimean War's fiercest battle. The Crimean War, which began in October 1853, was a conflict pitting the Russian Empire against an alliance of the Ottoman Empire, France, Britain, and Sardinia. It arose from religious disputes and geopolitical rivalries in Eastern Europe and the Middle East. In this clip, we introduce the political tensions and religious issues that spiraled into a full-scale war affecting many nations and eventually leading to the Siege of Sevastopol. Clip 2. Sevastopol. The strategic stronghold Sevastopol, a city on the Crimean Peninsula, was of significant strategic importance due to its deep water port, vital for the Russian Black Sea Fleet. This scene describes the city's geographical and political value, setting it as the heart of Russian naval power in the Black Sea region. Clip 3. The Allies' grand strategy. In this scene, we explore how the Allies planned their campaign. The main strategy was to neutralize the Russian naval threat by capturing its primary base, Sevastopol. We delve into meetings, maps, and leadership as diplomatic decisions turned into military maneuvers. Clip 4. The initial assault. Here, we portray the daunting task the Allies faced as they mounted the initial attacks on Sevastopol in September 1854. The challenges of coordinating French and British troops reveal the complexities of multinational military operations. The resilience of the Russian defenders under the command of military leaders like Vice Admiral Vladimirsky is examined in this clip. We watch as the city becomes a fortress with makeshift defenses, using everything from guns to ships sunk in the harbor to create obstacles. Clip 6. Life under siege. We look into the daily lives of both defenders and besiegers. This scene depicts soldiers' hardships, daily routines, and morale in the besieged city, painting a vivid picture of wartime life away from battle. Clip 7. The Battle of Alma. The Battle of Alma was one of the first major engagements. This scene takes viewers through the strategies and missteps that marked the outlying battlefields, often determining the success of future sieges. Clip 8. Winter hits. The winter of 1854 was brutal. This clip focuses on the weather's toll on soldiers. From frostbite to makeshift shelters, survival became as much of a battle as the fight for the city. Clip 9. The role of technology. This scene captures the innovations that arose from the telegraph revolutionizing communication to rifled muskets changing combat dynamics. Sevastopol became a proving ground for 19th century military technologies. Clip 10. Naval engagements. The naval aspects of the siege held critical importance. This clip delves into the roles of warships, blockades, and the naval skirmishes that echoed through the harbor. The Russian fleet's attempts to break through Allied blockades highlight naval warfare's dangers. Clip 11. Florence Nightingale. The work of Florence Nightingale and the beginning of modern nursing are explored here. We highlight her critical role in improving conditions for the wounded and establishing sanitary practices in hospitals close to the front lines. Clip 12. Trenches and tunnels. The Allies began digging extensive trench works and tunnels to weaken Russian defenses. This clip explores both the strategic and human aspects of trench warfare, a practice that transformed 19th century battlefields. Clip 13. The casualty lists. As the siege dragged on, casualty lists grew. We follow the impact of these losses, highlighting the grim reality facing commanders, soldiers, and families back home. Clip 14. Internal strife. Not all challenges came from outside the walls. This scene delves into internal Russian politics, depicting rivalries and disagreements that threatened to undermine their defensive efforts. Clip 15. The Battle of Inkerman. In this pivotal clip, the Allies face a surprise Russian offensive in the midst of Inkerman, an intense, fog-shrouded battle where tactical intelligence and sheer will determine the outcome. Clip 16. Supply lines. This scene examines the logistics that kept both sides fighting. from supplies carried across vast distances to blockades and sabotage. Managing resources was a war within a war. Clip 17. A new year dawns with the arrival of 1855. Morale and strategies on both sides shifted. This clip delves into fresh beginnings, new tactics, and revitalization efforts as both defenders and attackers face the new year. Clip 18. Heavy artillery highlighting the escalation of firepower. This scene examines the introduction and impact of massive artillery, including the bombardment tactics that battered Sevastopol. Clip 19. The Battle of Malakoff in this critical scene, where strategic French assaults focus on the Malakoff redoubt. We showcase both the ingenuity and brutality of siege warfare, climaxing in a significant breach in the Russian defenses. Clip 20. Hidden heroes, not all heroics were on the front lines. This clip shines a light on the behind-the-scenes heroes, from intrepid messengers to brave medical personnel. Clip 21. Disease and pestilence, more men were claimed by disease than bullets. This clip explores how cholera, typhus, and dysentery ravaged ranks, and the desperate measures taken to stem outbreaks. Clip 22. Allied cooperation and conflict as the siege wore on. Unity among allies was strained. We take a look at the political and personal conflicts that arose and how they threatened to fracture the coalition. Clip 23. The Russian counterattacks despite setbacks. Russian forces regularly attempted to push the Allies back. This clip details the dynamic physical and strategic moves the Russian forces mounted to regain control. Clip 24. Sevastopol's bombardment. In this scene, we illustrate the relentless bombardment suffered by Sevastopol, highlighting the destructiveness of prolonged artillery attacks on urban centers. Clip 25. The fall of Sevastopol, August 1855, saw the climax of the siege as Russian forces abandoned the southern part. This poignant moment captures the desperation, retreat, and eventual surrender in starker terms than ever. Clip 26. The Treaty of Paris. Despite the city's fall, the war dragged on until the Treaty of Paris in 1856. This scene explores the treaty's focus, stipulations, and the careful diplomatic negotiations that sought to prevent future conflicts. Clip 27. The aftermath. Here, we consider the social, economic, and political impacts of the war on Europe and beyond. The balance of power in Europe was significantly affected, leading to new strategic alliances.